Thank you. Thank you for having me back. It's wonderful to be connected with you and get to practice again with you today. The circuit of practices today will be gentle invitations to explore and perhaps set the conditions for rooting, calm, safety, and regathering a sense of containment to our experience, and also to close, connecting to the masterful regulator and second brain of our physical heart. On that little note of safety, I'm not here to play the role of telling you what feels safe or create safety for you, but offer some ways to explore and perhaps over time access that within yourself. In our second practice, there'll be an invitation to place hands on the body, and this might not be for everyone. If that isn't for you, having your hands on your body, you can hover hands or you can direct your attention there simply. And just on that note of containment, containment isn't about putting up walls to the world around us. It's in reconnecting to these boundaries, both physically and figuratively. We can connect much more expansively to the world around and within us. We're able to meet and consciously decide what we welcome in and what we wish to give our energy and curiosity to. Now, as always, everything is a complete invitation. You can do this whole circuit with your eyes open or closed. Eyes closed isn't for everyone, and that's totally fine. Follow what feels safe and right for you. Take breaks, take rest, make this work for you. So to start, we're going to start with a meditation, and just start by wiggling around in your chair a little bit. Get your hips nice and comfortable, and start to, if you have shoes on, perhaps kick them off if it's not too chilly, but you can keep your shoes on if you wish as well. And we're just going to start just landing. We're not looking for a perfect posture here. Rest your hands wherever they want to rest. And if you choose to keep the eyes open, perhaps just getting them away from the screen, and take a moment just to curiously notice what's here, a little check-in. Notice what you're arriving with. If there's any sensation in the body that your attention is drawn to, your mood, energy levels, any thoughts. All your experience is really welcome, and whatever that experience is, it's honest and it's valid for right now. Perhaps noticing where those emotions and sensations are in the body. If they have a movement or a temperature or a texture to them. And if by tuning into what's here, there's something that wants to happen, maybe a stretch, a wiggle, follow that. Maybe a yawn or a changing of your posture. I love that question. Oh, what wants to happen next? And we can keep on asking ourselves that question throughout. And now from here, bringing a slight husky quality to the in-breath, if that's comfortable for you. Just enough so you can hear it whispering. And the exhale, you might blow or shh or out the breath. And just taking a few rounds of breath, just like that, for it to become a little more familiar. And now we're just going to bring a little movement to accompany that breath. So on your next inhale, I invite you just to lift and spread the toes. So you're lifting through the arches of your feet. And as you exhale, slower than the slow, softening that effort out to the feet and the toes. And taking a few more like this, engaging, drawing up through the feet, drawing up through the legs. You might even find a little switching on around the hips. And again, as you exhale, just softening that effort, soles of feet softening and spreading into the floor. Now you might stay just with feet and legs engaging on the in-breath, or you might even bring this into the shoulders and the hands, perhaps give the shoulders a little squeeze up with the in-breath. And as you breathe out, slowly, gradually release that effort. And each round of this gentle engaging and softening, perhaps receiving a little more of that support of the floor and the chair underneath you. And on the end of your next exhale, don't rush to get there, but when you do, invite your attention down into the soles of your feet, where the boundaries of your body meet the floor. And invite your attentions like lush roots burrow down into the soil, deep into the richness of the earth, through soil, stone, water. Allowing your attention to continue channeling down into the earth beneath you. Until that burrowing reaches that crystalline center of the earth. And the beautiful thing about the center of the earth is that it's also filled with water. The center of the earth, there is more water than all the oceans on the surface of this planet. And for a moment, holding this attention, sense this channel rooting you into the steadiness, to this constancy, to this ancientness, to this support. And then from this space, gently travel your awareness back through, gradually through the layers of the earth. Back up, till it meets your feet. And as you arrive back at your feet, sense bringing back with you this support, filling your feet, your legs, up through your seat, in your belly, your rib cage, through the arms down to the fingertips, up through the neck, filling the space of the head. And then allowing that attention to continue moving up through the crown of your head to the space above you. Through the ceiling, through the roof, wherever you are, up into the sky. Continuing up, through the atmosphere, to the point where it meets the stratosphere. Into the space beyond, that vastness, that cosmos, that expanse. And perhaps just holding the vastness and width of your attention for another moment. Perhaps meeting it with a richer, longer in-breath. And with your exhale, then, like a feather gently floating, gradually back down, through space, through sky, through the space, the roof, the ceiling, and just gently landing back into the body, to your seat, your feet, your breath, the boundaries of your body. And once again, sensing where you end and the space around you begins. As your breath continues to move between the two. The body and the space. And dropping back into the sensation of the body, this field of aliveness of what it is to be here right now, right here, just as it is, just as you are. And taking a gentle moment to check in with what's here. What's here now? And from here, my invitation is we're going to place our hands on a few different areas of the body. And again, this is invitation. You can hover the hands if you prefer, or just direct your attention here. We're going to take our hands and place them just on either side of the head. Just creating some containment for our thoughts. Feeling the sensation on your hands, giving that touch, and then also being the receiver of that touch. How is it to be giving yourself this tender moment and also being the receiver of that? And perhaps if it resonates, saying with this out loud or silently, I am here, I am listening. And taking another few breaths, just noticing how this gesture, what this gesture brings up, if anything. Just total curiosity. And then from here, we're going to take one hand onto the forehead. It doesn't matter which one. And the other one to the back of your head. So the middle of your hand meets the indentation where the base of your skull and your neck meet. Take a moment to really tune into the quality of that touch. Perhaps if there is an intention to that touch. Take a moment as the giver. And then as the receiver. If the body communicates anything in response to this. Taking a few steady breaths here. And for a moment, releasing that, and we're simply going to take our hands onto our cheeks, cupping our face, perhaps like you would a loved one before you give them a big smooch. Again, the attentiveness of that touch. What arises as the giver of this moment, this intentional touch. Perhaps bringing some containment to a moment of tenderness, of pause. Perhaps if it resonated, coming back to I am here, I am listening, or perhaps another phrase comes to mind. And then gently moving one hand to the center of the chest, the heart, and the other one to the forehead. Does this feel different? familiar, unfamiliar, and new. Noticing what arises, perhaps through sensation or thought or emotion, as we hold ourselves in this moment. Simply, I am here, I am listening. And from the hand on the forehead, just very slowly bringing it down to meet the hand which is on the heart. First being the giver of this touch, this attention. And breathing into this space. Lengthening the breath while still keeping it comfortable. Allowing the inhale to roll into the exhale and into the next and the next. And begin sensing perhaps the breath traveling directly into this space of the heart and directly out. As if the breath could be received directly into this space of the heart. Perhaps breathing into this space, softening its edges. And this center of resource. This center of calm. And as you continue to direct that breath directly in and out of the heart, sense gathering all the experience, information that's been gathered in these last two practices together, almost gathering it all into this spot. Breathing into it all right here. Allowing all that curiosity, all that kindness, all that wisdom, all that attentiveness you've offered yourself over these last few practices. And then perhaps sensing it beginning to radiate out throughout the whole body now. Beginning to reach to the shoulders and the hips. Filling right to the fingertips, the tip of your nose, the tip of your toes. Allowing that resource to radiate throughout the boundaries of your body. And as you stay here for perhaps another moment, a few more breaths, being curious, open to what arises and what is arising in sensation, images, thoughts, emotions. Curious around what might be wanting to be communicated here. And beginning to gently deepen the breath a little more actively. Beginning to sense the space that you're in, perhaps the temperature of air on the skin, sounds outside the space that you're in. And asking before we wiggle and move and bring ourselves round, perhaps asking what wants to happen next following these practices for you. It might be a stretch, a yawn, you might want to be still. My invitation is to gently bring yourself round from that practice, from the answer of what wants to happen next. And lift the eyes open, taking a little time to look around the space, reorient yourself, look behind and below and around. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Oh, it's been wonderful to be connected with you guys again. Thank you.